Whether you're kick back and relax, it's Better on Draft.
Welcome, everybody. Episode 45, the Michigan Beer Series of Better on Draft. My name is Ken. Thank you so much for joining us. As you can tell, based on the fact that there is no video, that means we are live in person at Arctic Circle Brewery in Chesterfield, Michigan. We are being hosted as we are celebrating their March Draftness win. Let's go around and introduce yourselves to the hosts, starting to my right.
What's going on, Ken?
Hey, Ed.
Hey.
What are you drinking?
I am drinking the, what was it called? The New Zealand.
Oh, yeah, that is our last style bender, which is the New Zealand Pilsner from Arctic Circle.
Thank you. And then I got a Tasker's Pils from Coopersville Brewing on deck.
Way to bury the lead here. Rob, what do you got over there?
Rob's here?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, Robear.
Robear. Oh, my God. Where'd I come from? Oh, wait, I came from down south because this is up north of my ass.
Thanks for making the trip.
Damn right I had to make the trip.
I was going to say, I was happy to see you here, but I think Deven was more ecstatic than I was.
Oh, very much so. I've been trying to get him out here for damn near 3 years.
Here I am. All right. So I am sitting here drinking a cheat code because I'm up, down, left, right, BA in this shit.
Got it.
This guy gets it.
Yes.
Select start. Depends on what player you're doing.
99 lives.
Well, for myself, I have a Kolsch de 4.9, I believe, which is the Kolsch over here at Arctic Circle, as well as I have a Mutella from Coopersville Brewing. But let's introduce your winner of March Draftness 2024. Why don't you introduce yourself to everyone? Tell us who you are, what you do, and
hello, everyone. I am
where we are.
Devin Sills, one half of Arctic Circle Brewing Company. Eric will be here shortly, so he'll jump on a microphone as well. But yeah, co-owner and brewer here at Arctic Circle. So thank you guys all for coming out tonight, and also to the extended family now we have showing up. So. And I am also drinking the Mexican lager that you guys made. What was the name of it?
Two dudes.
I'm having two dudes.
Yes, you are. I've got to try it once, man.
Having two dudes, which then be followed up shortly thereafter with Ties the Room Together, which is you guys' coffee porter. Right?
Yeah, it's pale porter.
Oh, yeah. And you guys hear a few other people. Real quick, what are we buying a keg of today?
We will be featuring our premium Anchor Bay Pilsner. So we now getting into our lager phase of Arctic Circle, and since we've tapped this new local favorite, everyone's been drinking what is our new flagship beer, let's say.
Perfect. Now, if you haven't been following March Draftness this year, so many memes, so many posts, so many shares. We reached nearly 1 million people with this competition, which is crazy. I thank everyone for voting, sharing, promoting, but it brought some new friendships. People learned about different breweries. People learned about new breweries, new cities even, inside the state of Michigan. And behind the scenes, I didn't even know it until about a week ago, the runners-up of our competition for March Draftness, Coopersville Brewing, decided to come on out all the way to Chesterfield and do a show with us, drink some beers. They probably, want the consolation prize of us buying beer, so they get to drink it. But to my left, why don't you introduce yourself, tell us who you are, what you do, and a little bit about the brewery.
So I am Jim Goodburn, co-owner and brewer of Coopersville Brewing. We have been open now we just had our third anniversary on April 20th. That date holds significance to us for a multitude of reasons, but we have been open now, for about 3 years. We have started to push more into our canning, our distribution, so it's kind of nice. We were able to bring some gifts to hand out to the peeps. But yeah.
For sure, and right in front of me, we have a cohort of yours.
What's up?
Why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, Jeremy Grossenbacher, also co-owner of Coopersville Brewing Company. Like Jim said, we opened 420 about 3 years ago. Our in-house restaurant opened up about 4 months after that. And my role is to just make sure it all just goes, which can be fun sometimes and stressful at others. But we loved coming out to something like this. We did not expect to make the finals in this. I don't think we ever made it out of the second round. I think the new format helped this year for sure. But Devin reached out. He, I think, started messaging us, and here we are. We just thought it'd be fun to come over and meet you guys, actually get a chance to jump on this podcast and share some beers and swap some stories.
Well, let's talk about Coopersville. Where is Coopersville in the state of Michigan?
The great question. We have to answer this to people that live in West Michigan all the time. If you put a dot on I-96 between the Lakeshore and Grand Rapids, that is Coopersville. It's about dead nuts in the middle. About 20 minutes and you're in downtown Grand Rapids, and then another 20 minutes you're at the beach in Grand Haven. So we've kind of got the tagline that we're in the middle of everything, because Coopersville is kind of the middle of nowhere. But like I said, we draw from both sides of the Lakeshore and Grand Rapids. And I grew up there, born and raised.
A couple of locals. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the genesis of creating Coopersville Brewing? Who made the decision to open it? Who made the decision to, brew the beer? How did everyone come together?
So that was on me.
It's your fault.
Yes, it is my fault. My family owned an RV dealership, campers, for like 50 years. My uncle started it and everything. And what's our property now is right next to where they started. And in like 1985, they needed a whole lot of extra room for all the campers and all that stuff. And it just happened to have a 10,000 square foot building on it. So they bought it, didn't really ever do much with the building other than lease it out over the years. It was like a laundromat, and it was a small engine repair shop, and it had like 4 or 5 different pizza places in it throughout the years. And I actually moved away and was in Chicago for like 9 or 10 years. Came back in about 2016 to work for the family business again. Learned again at that age that I didn't want to sell campers for the rest of my life. And our tenants at the time decided to tell us they weren't going to, they wanted out of their lease. And I kind of looked at that, and I've been a huge craft beer fan pretty much since it really started taking off in the mid-2000s. And I saw an opportunity in that area.
What was your first craft beer experience?
Ooh, man, that's tough to say.
We always tell people, especially, RIP, North Center Brewing, but if you like it, it's a good beer. So just because it's not craft, like I always say, my craft experience is Killian's.
Mm-hmm.
It's not craft, but it's different.
Right.
I think one of the biggest ones that comes to mind for me, and it's not necessarily like a beer, but it was this place called the Map Room in Chicago. And I remember going there shortly after I moved there, and they had like a fucking book. They had like 120 different bottles, like 50 things on draft. And I remember just being like blown away that that's what beer is. You know what I mean? At that point, I really just, it was like,
not the
dirty natty 30s. And, that was a means to an end. But as I kind of got into food and exploring that, it really opened things up. And I remember going, oh, shit. And then you have stuff like Bean Flicker from Oddside. And you go, coffee, pale, and you're like, oh, shit, that's what beer can be? Like, I didn't know that. And it just scratched that itch, and then it always kind of, like, started there. I've got a 6-year-old daughter now. By the time she was 17 months old, my wife and I brought her to 46 different breweries, So it was our hobby. And that's kind of what started it. About a month after that company decided they were going to do their lease. We were at Suds on the Shore up in Ludington. I had enough samples in me to be like, hey, Dad, that building next door? Like, we should totally do a brewery. And thank God he'd been in business like his whole life, so that shit doesn't like scare him. So he was like, yeah, let's do it. And I was like, shit. Now I have to try to figure this out.
This is real. You're the dog that caught the car.
Yeah. And then about 6 months later, I figured out, like, okay, I have to have somebody that actually knows how to make beer.
Yeah.
And being that craft beer is such a tight-knit community, I networked with enough other breweries and people at that time. So I was like, hey, I got this offer. It's going to take us a little while to build out, but I need somebody that can kind of handle that side. And everybody, to a person, pointed me to this guy, Jim, also with us today.
Including Alan from Wonderland.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. Alan was one of the first people I met with. But yeah, and so once him and I met, it's funny, we're from neighboring towns. We're about the same age.
Hung out with a lot of the
Fairly
same people.
certain we were at a lot of parties back in the day together, but didn't know it. And got along real quick. And in the 2 years it took us from that point to open, we just homebrewed about once a week or so, which is cool because that gave me the actual beer making side of it that I wasn't as familiar with at that time. So that's our little story.
Well, before I pass it over to Rob, Jim, you definitely have a history within the industry, as everyone was pointing to you to come to Coopersville. What's your history within the industry?
So my wife is a teacher, and her first teaching job was in Battle Creek. I was living in Grand Haven, and I didn't have anything to do. And my best friend growing up was Ryan Andrews, co-owner of Grand Armory Brewing. And back then, Grand Armory was just a glimmer in everyone's eye, and I was part of the team that helped get that off the ground. So for the first 3 years, I was the head brewer there. I had gone through 5 rotator cuff surgeries.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it was a lot. So I decided to step away. Got into substitute teaching, actually, and it was really nice. Got a chance to fall in love with the industry again, take a chance to step away. And Jeremy had approached me, and I had one of the people that he had talked to was that Ryan Andrews. He was a neighbor of his right up the block, and he too pointed him in my direction. And the rest, as they say, is history.
Nice.
I don't know where to go from this point.
A little rusty over there, Rob.
I'm a lot rusty right now, and plus it's what is it? It's not even 11 o'clock. I haven't even. I'm getting ready to watch Price is Right, and
We have a coffee pale porter that
You want to split this?
Yeah. It's a little caffeine.
It's not 2 dudes, but you can still do it.
I mean, I'm just gonna say right now that 2 dudes is a hell of a lot more manageable than 5 guys. So.
Bazinga.
He's back.
right back in. Didn't even take us.
That's it.
I think yeah.
You're drinking hop water too.
No Diddy. I can handle 2 guys. I'm all right. I'm all right.
Welcome back, Rob.
This is going off the rails.
That is my job. That was my original job in the show, is to make sure things went off the rails.
There you go.
Rail run.
I promise you, if you listen to some of those older episodes back in the Royal Oak studio, it probably all sounds like this.
They all go off.
So
the
much
rails.
laughter.
They all go off the rails.
Yeah, I know. It was when you're in person versus the COVID. Yeah, I know we're still doing everything online, but when you're in person, you get that personal touch. You get that not 2 guys touch, but personal touch, where you can interact and you see the emotion and the inflection in everyone's voice and face and stuff. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I guess my first question I'm thinking is with your location. You said, I'm sorry, what was the name of the city? Was
Coopersville.
Coopersville.
Same name as the brewery.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ed. Motherfucker.
Drove all the way north this way just to get treated like that.
Thanks for joining.
Do you realize
Road
what
to Robear.
it takes for me to get past M59?
That's why I'm only brought on for certain episodes.
Yeah, just to antagonize me. So being 20 minutes from Grand Rapids, 20 minutes from the beach, I guess I'm curious about what makes Coopersville the destination to go for beer? Because obviously with so much that's in Grand Rapids, that is, how is the traffic that comes in? Is it kind of, we're just stepping off of the beaten path of Grand Rapids to come out, or is it like the I don't want to call it the pregame to Grand Rapids?
No, I think it's a good question.
I don't go to Third Coast very, 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 very often.
But I think to kind of answer the best I can, Coopersville is definitely not a destination town. So, the traffic that we get is typically deliberate. People are coming there either for us or once you kind of start to get an audience and customer base, a lot of people drive that corridor going from Grand Rapids to Muskegon or the Lake Shore to Grand Rapids. I mean, if you've ever been to Grand Haven or that area in the middle of the summer, it gets kind of crazy downtown. So it's like, hey, we're going to be coming back from there on our way back. Let's hit that up. But I think more than anything, and we knew this from the jump, there's not really a lot like what we do around us. It's like our tap room's like 192 capacity. We've got a small stage for live music. We do trivia. We do the music bingo thing and regular and we're always trying to do something. So, Coopersville needed an area like that where you can celebrate a retirement party. You could bring a luncheon of like 25 people. It gives you something to do on a Friday night. And, I'd love to say that, well, I think we make great beer, and I think we make great food, just providing that type of experience is really, at the end of the day, what pays the bills.
To your point, like the foot traffic there isn't any. It's like we have... Off our exit, we have a bunch of gas stations and like all that. So it's kind of been known, you're by where all the gas stations are.
You're by the dump.
Right. Yeah. I was going to say, there's a dump in Coopersville.
Yeah, there also is a dump in
Growing up, it was called Poopersville.
There you go. No, that's 100% true.
That's not. That's a real thing.
That's a real thing. It smells like ass.
There's turkey farms. They spread shit in the fields. There's a water treatment plant. I'm really hard selling this, aren't I? Right?
You started out strong though. Like Coopersville sounded like a beacon of hope, and then the reality came.
But here's like the reality to it all. I think is like with the growth of this industry and like what we've seen happen is like the focus on having craft beer be locally based, and then built around the owner's sort of vision geared towards the people, and then location be damned, because if you're in the middle between this space and this space, you now provided something for the local area, and then because craft beer has a traveling fan base, you can ultimately go and get people that are like, okay, I'm passing through, or this is my Saturday thing to do today. I got to go over to Coopersville because we run into a fair bit here.
And to your point, I know this is something I've always talked to Michael Brower from Pigeon Hill about, is a craft beer tap room is unlike any other bar setting.
Yep.
It harkens back to the days of when this country was created and people were gathered around, pubs, and it was a meeting place, and that's kind of what we've tried to create, is it being a community stopping point. And so we've done a lot to try and really involve our community, and to their credit, Coopersville has stepped up, and like one of our sayings is like, brick by brick, we built a brewery, a village, built the brewery.
Brick by brick.
There it is.
As a village, we built a brewery.
Thank you.
But that was a money capital funding thing we did to start. It was like sell lifetime memberships.
Sure.
We call them villagers. We got a whole wall dedicated to them at the brewery. But
that's great.
But I couldn't agree with your point more on exactly what you said there in terms of.
So to when we were first got matched up in that final round, and the memes were flowing back and forth, I'm seeing all the traction on the social media. I'm like, I would imagine about 50% of these people have no idea where Coopersville and Chesterfield, Michigan are, right?
Right.
And so we end up firing off that meme of Patrick and SpongeBob. This just idea of literally having to Google search where we're at, and then that only then just brings a little bit more of a spotlight to your area, and then secondarily the actual brewery itself. So it was thanks to the Better on Draft people, because that I think is what the actual huge benefit of this all is your unabated ability to span people's timeline with advertisements.
Dude, my Facebook feed, I was getting sick of it. I was like, dude, Jesus Christ.
17 hours a day on my phone through those 3 weeks.
I was curious about the whole what's been going on with the March Draftness, and have people been coming in just saying, oh, hey, you guys were in the finals or semifinals, and I really wanted to come out here and check out your brewery. Like, has there been people who have been kind of showing up and saying, hey, I had no idea who you guys were until this showed up?
I certainly can't speak for the Arctic Circle guys, but I can absolutely tell you that because I'm there a lot, we've definitely had people, actually, like right after it ended, there was a couple that was in town to see Fall Out Boy in Grand Rapids. And they were like decked out in Arctic Circle like gear, and it was like the Tuesday afterwards, like
shout out to the booze checks.
The next day after we opened, there was like a couple sitting at the bar, like decked out in Arctic Circle gear, and I was like,
I thought you were gonna say Fall Out Boy.
I was like,
Don't be that guy.
I was like,
I think we've had
not a
like
scene, it's a goddamn arms race.
7 or 8 different couples from like here in our area.
Yeah,
it was like
same.
we're going out to the west side of the state. We're stopping at Coopersville. I'm like, this is like. It warms my heart just given like the starting point to this all, which is framed around an idea of a competition, but ultimately you're able to go and get people in asses and seats, for the lack of a better term, right?
Right.
And like, yeah, it's really cool to be able to have Arctic Circle emblem in the middle of Lake Shore and Grand Rapids, right? Because that now just gives a little bit more representation and awareness to all this stuff that we have going on individually.
Yeah, and I think it accentuates the collaborative effort of this industry, which makes it so unique. Like, there is no other industry that you see companies jump to help each other the way that breweries do, and it is always impressive to see it. But like, even when under the frame of a competition, it becomes a friendly competition where like now, like Deven and I just met today. Like every festival, like we're gonna hang out, and it's like just one of those really cool things that we didn't expect, especially having getting bounced in the second round every time. Like,
Same.
yeah, there's a couple of Cinderella stories. Yeah,
Sometimes you get that one kid from the transfer portal, and it just changes everything.
yeah, man. That was the new format for us this year.
yeah.
When you say new format, could you help?
The way with the way Better on Draft does their voting and polling, I think in years past it was limited to essential like emojis and things like that. And when you try to share something to different community pages, people don't understand exactly how to do it, and they're liking that, and it's just like, okay. Whereas this year, I think the technology kind of caught up with it, and Facebook, Meta, whatever the fuck you call them now.
It did not.
Did you? Okay. Give me credit where it
No, I'm just
my
saying.
bad, man. I did not mean
jump in and take credit
Trying to throw a
Okay.
softball.
Ken created something amazing.
I was trying to throw a softball both the ways, and
Give me my flowers.
For those of you that don't know, minus the, I want to say 2019 year, because they added polls to Facebook pages in 2019 and then removed them. So after 2020 happened, and that's the COVID year, and then 2021 we didn't do it because everyone was more worried about if we're going to be like literally opening or is it outdoor only.
That's when we opened.
I remember being at Confluxity at January 2021, and
that place.
literally that you had to be outside. That was it.
Yep.
And I went to, it was a Big Boiler right down the road
In Lowell?
too.
that's in Lowell, yeah.
I was in that area, so
That's a
We're
big
from
area.
the west side, so that's not like right by each other, but I understand.
Lowell's closer to you than Confluxity.
But I'm at these places, and you could only be outside. You could only be, drinking outside, and those places had like huge bonfires or fire pits or heaters and stuff, so you were able to do it. But going back to March Draftness, they removed the voting. They removed the polls, and I'm like, wow, this is annoying. I have to go back to emojis, and it sucks because I got to make all these graphics again, and we're trying to do a quick turnaround. And at the end of last year, I don't know, I just became an admin of a group for the first time ever. Like, as much as I'm on social media, I don't social media that much. And I became an admin of a group about Detroit, like showing positive stuff about Detroit, and I realized that polls were there, and I'm like, wait a minute, polls are there. So I didn't tell anyone, but we created the March Draftness page, and we did a few different polls just to see how it worked, to see if you could share the poll and that those numbers add up together. And we did a lot of testing, and then come this year, so it was extra work on our end, but it was perfectly fine. I didn't mind doing the group and then sharing it to Better on Draft. But yeah, if we could do polls on the page, I would much rather do that because all that extra work. Like, I have to be on at noon on Saturday making sure I'm sharing them to the other page, whereas before I would just pre-schedule everything. And I could do that, with the beer in hand and not worry about it. But this year I had to be like on at 12 to make sure I shared it to the regular page and make sure everything was fair. But what we also
appreciate your efforts.
Yeah. What we also learned though is that in the groups you can't tag 21 and up pages. So we learned this because we were trying to tag Pink Barrel Cellars, shout out to Pink Barrel Cellars, and we couldn't. We were trying to tag Tri-City, and we could tag their restaurant Facebook page, like their location page, but not their page. So we never tagged anyone. So, it was a fair call out by Pink Barrel to us to say, hey, you should have tagged us. And I'm like, I wanted to, but I can't.
Right.
So there's still a lot of issues regarding, legalities when it comes to 21 and up venues, breweries, bars, etc. on Facebook that you still have to follow. But I think we've mastered it to where if Meta doesn't change anything next year, we're going to be good to go. Sadly, Arctic Circle, your
in the rafters.
Jerseys are in the rafters.
I told Eric before this year's tournament started that this is my last year doing it win or lose. I'm like,
oh, really?
Oh, well, called yourself down.
Dude, as much as I love you guys and the idea of the possibility of reaching more people, like, oh man, I'm invested in these sorts of things, and I have a competitive bone in me. But ultimately, these things cannot go in your favor just because more people have more people.
Well, going up against the beast that is St. Clair Shores.
They've been running this tournament for a little bit now.
Well, that's why there's a 1-year limit now. So that's
Shout out to
why
Baffin.
Baffin basically ruined it for everyone. They've won 3 times. I think 3 or 4 if you include the New England IPA March Draftness thing that we did separate. And we're like, all right, you guys are done. Like,
that's it. Put the jersey in the rafters, man.
At that point, Joe over at Baffin's just like, you know what, just donate our money to someone. And we're like, all right, we'll figure it out.
There you go.
Yeah, but that's, the retooling and the refocusing and trying to figure out how to make this both worthwhile to the brewery, but then also worthwhile to the people. Because if Baffin's going to win it every single year, some people might be like, I'm not
nobody's
going to
want to.
I'm not going to do that.
Sure.
Well, to that point, we had so many of just our regulars and stuff get involved.
It's crazy.
Sharing it, the way our mug clubbers and everyone jumped in and became a part of the team. They're like, oh no, we need to win, and I'm like, oh okay, well let's go. And it was just really cool to see the way it rallied the troops.
Well, that was my question, was, I guess, kind of getting Devin's little bit here and your little bit here is, the way that March Draftness works, and I hope to do it justice here, Ken. If you cut in if I'm saying it wrong.
Will do.
Yeah. We reach out to every single brewery, and we make sure that we have the buy-in or the permission from the brewery to put you on our bracket. So it's not like we're creating our own bracket and just slapping your name on there and saying, oh, these breweries are participating. We've confirmed with you that you want to participate and that you're okay to participate, because the prize is what we're doing today here at Arctic Circle, where we're buying a keg of one of their beers and then giving it away to the people. MLCC, it's legal. We checked.
Remember, we're buying it. Somebody is buying this beer.
We bought the beer. The beer is paid for, and that's the prize. So we want to make sure that the breweries are okay and that they want to do that. So I guess my question is for the breweries, for both Coopersville and then for Arctic Circle, what is your buy-in or your reason to participate in March Draftness?
For me, it was, like Devin said, competitiveness. Yeah. Once we got past the second round, I was like, oh shit, I'm in now. Because before that, it's well, if we lose, whatever. It is what it is. We've lost before. And, but as soon as we got past the second round, I was like, we're not losing again. That's it. And, I think my both of our competitive nature kicked in. But also, just watching 3,000 people view this thing, it's oh shit, I bet A couple of them haven't been to our place, and it just the exposure.
Yeah, there ain't no price like a free prize. We get approached with shit all the time, right? To do this or do that, and then it's all an advertising thing, and then they're like, oh, it's going to cost you X amount to even be involved, and you're like, what the hell am I even getting out of this? So, something for us that is easy, like there's not much other than committing to it and, sharing it and participating. It's fun and engaging for our customers. Yep. It's good for you guys. It's a better on draft. We say it all the time in our tap room. It's like we just try to find something that's like cool for whoever we're partnering with, whether it's an organization, band, whatever. It's awesome for our customers and it's good for us. When you create the win-win-win, it can become a fun thing and it's really successful. And for us, like I said, jump in and
let me dive into this on like a personal level. When like that the tournament started, Ken, like you ended up like slotting breweries based on like the followership that everyone had on like Facebook, correct? And then inevitably, good friends of ours over at Loaded Dice, we were slotted against them in the first round. So Jeff and I text each other like, oh great, we got to do our little meme war thing and like we'll have a little bit of fun with it and see where it goes. What I did not expect was like what felt like a bit of a wildfire, like or halfway through that first round, and I had like 3 other breweries text and message me. It was like, hey, if we get matched up, you want to do a meme war? And I'm just like, I honestly didn't want to do this one because I spent too much time on my phone, like creating stuff that only lives on the timeline for one click, and then it's off to the next one. However, like to our earlier point, it gave me an opportunity to consistently span people's timeline with consistent content and people's the social media engagement. I think that is a great addition to all of this, and I think that we would all probably be able to be beneficial if more breweries did that sort of a social media collaborative effort, because like it isn't just a fleeing post in the wind. We now have given you 7, 8, 9, sometimes 10 things to view over the course of a couple of days, and now it's like it doesn't just like seep out of your mind as quickly as it went across your timeline. It's like, okay, it has a little bit of a staying power. And I know I grabbed a beer for someone a moment ago, but when you guys were mentioning like the sort of trickle down effect of the tournament itself, that Wednesday that we opened after winning the tournament, we do trivia Wednesdays. Typically it's pretty packed in here. However, like that first hour before trivia can be a little bit slower. It was like standing room only, an hour and a half before trivia, and I'm like, oh, this is all like, it felt like people had forgot about us for a little bit, and then everyone just like realized, like, oh yeah, Arctic Circle exists over there, and they do some pretty cool things, and everyone came out to support, and it was humbling, gratifying, and also it was like, pat on the back, boys, like this is what you invest into it. Competition aside, like the benefits of your set effort, right? So I don't think that it should be shorted ever for any of the breweries competing in it all, because the effort, if it's there, you probably will see some sort of ROI, right?
Yeah, it goes back to the, like, you get out what you put in. Like, we really went into it, and now, like, we're here doing this, and it's... But also, like, just to piggyback that, it helped drive people in, but to, like, Arctic Circle's credit and to kind of toot our horn, like, once they're in, we got to give them good product, we got to give them a good experience, Bingo. And, like... Thank you, Better on Draft, for doing, a lot of the legwork, getting them through the door, but then it's on us to, like, make sure they stay or come back or, and that enables us to, like, hone some of the things that, we pride ourselves on.
Yep.
Well, what's important to us at Better on Draft, and I think it speaks volumes through our app, the Michigan Brewery Map app, is that we want every brewery to succeed. Mm-hmm. We want breweries, like, we want people to, somebody talked about, like, that's their shtick, is that they go and they travel, and they're brewery travelers. They go to all these breweries. You went with your 17-month-old daughter, and she had already hit 50 breweries. Her passport was full by the time she turned 2. But, like, for us, we've never seen something like this where we are today, where you guys are collaborative, because we see collaborations of breweries, like you guys just did a collaboration with Ascension.
Ascension, yeah.
And that was like a follow-up to the original collaboration with Ascension when you guys first opened. So, like, when you're locale and you're close, you kind of get that because you're going to Ascension as you're opening your brewery to pick their brain, talk to Brandon Sabo, talk to, the folks over there.
Ciao.
So when we see this cross-state collaboration, because this would have never happened without March Draftness.
No.
You guys probably would have never talked to each other or may have said, hey, I'm from Coopersville, I'm from Arctic Circle. All right.
That's a fact.
Goodbye.
Yeah, man.
So it was great for us to see it and see the engagement. And as Jim said, it's the ROI. If you put an effort into the competition, you're going to get back a lot.
Yep.
And you see it with some of the posts that only get, 500 or 600 votes for the post, whereas some breweries are losing with 2,000 votes because the other brewery had 2,200. And it's not because their fan base is bigger or they're better or anything like that. It's just simply because they put in the effort and put in the legwork. But our job here is just to promote the industry. We've been doing this for 8.5 fucking years. There we go. I dropped the F on.
Right? He joined the party.
He dropped it pretty early, though.
I mean, talking about that big fucking book.
Well, I had to clarify we were good with that,
But yeah, like we just want you guys to succeed. We want you to do well, and I know it's such a hard business. We were talking pre-show about the Bear and the TV show and opening up a restaurant and how quick restaurants can open and close. And even if you put your heart, soul, you make the best food, the best beer, it ain't shit if you don't have customers. And you need to get those customers in the door to at least try it to then continue the growth. So there's a lot of legwork that I think people in the industry understand, but I don't think it's ever been fully understood as to how to do it. Because there is no right way. What works in Coopersville, small town, doesn't work in Chesterfield, where we got a fucking Cabela's or something over here.
Yeah, right down the street from Cabela's, across the street from Target. Listen, we are shopping mall central over here. Whatever you need, you got it.
But the community clearly loves you, right? And I think that's what we can say about that. They fucking voted the shit out of you. So like they must. I mean,
I will say this.
Maybe not your local, but your Arctic Circle.
So people that like us love us. Like I do know, like I have a bit of a polarizing existence, not just in our area, but in craft beer in general, right? Like I am like a better term, a snowflake in the sky in my experience, being tailored around it and trying to serve beer within my sort of life trajectory. It's a unique one, and so like I think that commonalities can always meet somewhere in that Venn diagram middle section, and then me being a person that can talk to just about anybody will inevitably break down whatever bias someone has, or perhaps it retains itself afterwards because some just walls aren't meant to be jumped over. But no, like I am thankful and blessed that we do have so many people here locally and beyond that, whether it be they found the beer at a beer festival or they've come to the tap room and it was like, holy shit, like this place is cool, the vibe is nice, and they do some stuff that like I kind of appreciate. That there's what I do it for. It's be damned the people that didn't give it a chance or didn't want to try to learn how to understand it. So, like, for me, it's a very personal one because sometimes I feel a little bit isolated within my experience. However, that doesn't stop me from still trying to be my authentic self within the experience, right? And so, like, that's when we ended up, like, learning about Coopersville, and then, like, I look at the Untapped list, and I look at, like, beer names, I'm like, oh no, I already know I like these guys. Like, it's like, well, we do a lot of the similar sort of a thing, and like life experiences are just bi-coastal, right? West side of the state, east side of the state, and life experiences can be semi-similar given our certain interests, right?
I think that was in our messages that we were sending.
100%.
It's funny because like even when we came in up against you guys, right? We saw you guys like, rising in the bracket. And it was like, who the fuck is Arctic Circle again? And then I remember, I like went to your webpage, and then I watched the video. It was you and Eric talking about, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. They opened like just a couple. I remember when you opened, because I remember that video. I remember going through the exact same experience. Of like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
They're not. They're in Detroit. Like they're not even like what the. There's none
Detroit-ish.
of this makes sense. But then Detroit-ish.
Asterisk.
Yeah.
For Robear, up north.
Yeah.
Up north.
Detroit-ish.
Up north.
But
As soon as you pass, for us, as soon as you pass Lansing,
yeah, you're pretty much a Detroit suburb at that point. You know what I'm saying?
Geography and your place in the midst of it is kind of how we associate.
it's like no, I live in Brighton. It's like so Detroit.
Yeah.
It's like no,
that's
Brighton,
true though
that's
for
a
West
different-
Michigan. Like it's just like west of Lansing is just West Michigan. So I
If
see
you
where
told somebody from West Michigan that like Coopersville is like Grand Rapids, they'd be like, no. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, but it kind of is.
It was like I'm like down the street.
Yeah.
See, we're
But,
not the only ones.
Just a story of where the name came from, and you guys are
Yeah.
like high school friends,
Yeah.
and like the Arctic Circle used to be like your chill place. Like that is exactly how I grew up. My house and my basement at my parents' house was that house back in high
Oh, yeah.
school, and I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna be friends.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
and, like-
we would have had a lot of good times in the Arctic Circle
I
back in the day.
believe
I'm
it.
fairly
I believe
certain
it.
about that.
When we get here, like I look at the tap board and I'm like, "There's 10 craft commandments." There's like all this shit that would be on our tap. Like
Yeah.
we would name
Yeah.
our beers, that kind of stuff. You
That's
know,
cool.
like it
You
just
made me chug a beer.
I did. I was like,
wasn't
C1,
like,
Sin 1. At the end of it all, like, I was like, it was a sigh of relief that it was over, not so much that we even won. I was like, oh, for goodness gracious. Like, iPhone sends you that weekend report when it tells you how much time you've been spending on your phone.
Yeah.
I'm like, Ken's making me doing 17-hour days on my cell phone. Like, I hate social media.
all
Meanwhile,
over the
I'm over
place.
here just like clocking numbers, looking at my phone.
It's that competitive
But I mean,
spirit, man.
to Jeremy's point, like as soon as we made it past that second round and you start looking ahead, we're like, it's gonna be Arctic Circle. Like every single one. Like,
Well, them
you'd
are,
see some win with like 800 votes, and then Arctic Circle. would have
Rustic Leaf, though,
3,200.
too, and Doug. We've been next to them at
Can we talk about that
festivals.
Rustic Leaf experience? How it came down to the wire? Oh, man.
So you guys are like neighbors over here. That we were neighbors at
Detroit.
Burning, like 2 years in a row.
No. Yeah, we're like neighbors, like your neighbors to Grand Rapids.
Exactly.
Or Lowell or whatever.
I was like, they're close enough. They're right by each other.
Rustic Leaf's got to be, 40 minutes away, 45 minutes?
Yeah, at least. At least.
I drove it today.
Skipping a jump.
It's two roads. You literally, you take 23 to 59, and you take 59 to
See?
Rustic Leaf.
You got the same area code.
Right
then you're
there.
okay.
Yeah, it's like going
Hop,
to
skip,
Grand
and jump.
Rapids from Coopersville.
Twice and back. Like,
Those guys are cool.
Yeah, no, Rustic Leaf's
yeah.
good people.
Oh, shout out to Doug, man. Doug's good people. I love what
They
they
were
got
next to
going
us
over
at
there.
Burning Field last year.
2 years in a row.
2 years. Those guys
Like,
know how to have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, Doug's a good time.
They roll deep into Burning Foot, and they have,
Doug's a good time.
we were saying like that's a group of people that have babysitters. It's like,
They came
they're
in.
getting into it.
I think it was either after Winter Beer Festival or after Burning Foot. I want to say Winter Beer Fest, but either way. They showed up to the tap room with their whole crew at like 11:30, noon, right when we opened, and they kicked it for like 4 hours, 5 hours, and then they were like, "All right, we're going to the other side of the state," and it's like, "Holy shit, man!" Like, like you just got done with a really big festival, and I remember being right next to you guys. They seemed like a good time.
Yeah, like we don't get out too often,
Right.
when you do, enjoy it.
They had fun.
That is the
Yeah.
one thing we hear from a lot of breweries is that when you don't get a chance to go visit other breweries, like you get that experience when you're opening your brewery. You go to all these breweries, you're picking everyone's brain, but once you're open, you're here. You're never anywhere else. So when you get to these festivals, that's your opportunity to catch up, see people, and of course drink the beer that you don't get. The beer that's not your beer.
Right.
So it's always fun to see these breweries kind of let loose. That's why I love the first hour of any beer festival. Yes. Is because typically all the brewers are either at their station because they want to talk to everyone because that's where the true fans are, or that's where everyone else comes in, or they're going to say hi to everyone. And that's always the fun thing to see when we are there and, covering the event. Everyone just kind of having fun, the calm before the storm of, as we reference them, the CBYs, the craft beer Yeezuses, the people who think they're 3-ounce taster, they can rate on Untapped and rate efficiently on their 34th.
Yeah, I haven't.
That's why I don't bring lagers to festivals anymore.
I didn't know that was a thing.
I know.
I know it's a thing. I just didn't know how to name.
It's just I have not heard that in a long time.
Trying to bring it back.
Better on Draft is brought to you by Zatuna Liquor, located on Rochester Road just south of M59. Zatuna Liquor is your one-stop shop for beer, wine, spirits, and more. Stop in for daily tastings, single cans and bottles of beer, and a wide variety of NA options. With Zatuna Liquor ready to serve, you only need one place to visit. Better on Draft is brought to you by the Craft Tapped app. For $14.99, you are unlocking 50% off 2 drinks at up to 10 venues a month. And if you use code BOD at checkout, that's right, BOD for Better on Draft, you can save even more money on that yearly subscription. Go check out former March Draftness winners like Ogma Brewing in Jackson, Copper Hop in St. Clair Shores, or even the 2024 March Draftness winner Arctic Circle in Chesterfield. Better on Draft is brought to you by the Detroit Brew Trail. Visit Detroit has put together an amazing list of places to grab your next pint while collecting prizes and swag along the way. Some breweries even have discounts for users of the Detroit Brew Trail. Head over to visitdetroit.com/digital passes. That's right, visit detroit.com/digital passes to learn more about the Brew Trail and grab some of Visit Detroit's other free passes, including their Dining Pass, their Pizza Pass, and the Explore Detroit Pass. No download necessary.
It's like the festival bingo card.
And a few breweries did festival bingo cards. Were you a part of that at Winter Beer
Fest? I brought it and then I didn't fill it out. But like keeping track, we filled it out pretty quick.
What was on the festival bingo card?
So festival bingo card, like you mark off things that you see a lot. So like somebody that is too drunk before like the first hour of the festival's done. That's one of the squares.
Is that the free space?
Somebody that comes up and is like, "What's your highest ABV?" That's always a bad strategy.
Kilts. I think kilts are one that needs to be on there.
We saw that pretty quick.
Charcuterie necklace, perhaps?
Yeah, like a necklace that was like had obscenely too much food.
Amount of food around your neck.
Yeah, we honestly like that card filled up quick.
I'm sure. And then the one thing too is there were a few breweries that were doing them, and if you're trying to be subtle about it, put it behind the jockey box. Like some of them had it on top of the jockey box, and I was like, "Oh, which one do you have to do?" And I was like, "Let me do it." So,
another one was like someone telling you where they're going to put the sticker when they take it.
The sticker, or
like, this is going on my water bottle. This is going on my beer
mispronouncing the beer name or mispronouncing the brewery, stuff like that. Yeah.
We'll get that a lot. They'll come up and like, I'll have the Coopersville, and it's like that's the name of the beer.
Were you guys located?
Or the name of our
Well,
brewery.
I will say though, I saw at Winter Beer Fest,
Coopersville?
It was mostly West Michigan breweries that were playing bingo.
Well, I got it off Tim Coletta's, who's the sales dude for Armory.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's where I got it.
Gotcha.
And I think it got shared at Nasser because I also saw it on like Tim Willie from Alliance.
Oh, okay.
Like one of the sales dudes. I think the sales dude. I'm not exactly sure, but
I mean, granted, the Winter Beer Fest is in Grand Rapids, so we're like in the stomping grounds. But I just was like, wow, there's a lot of. I wonder if they're all the same. Is this the same bingo card? Did they shuffle it up? Like, what's the deal going on here with all these?
I didn't know this was a thing. This is actually like news.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it was a West Michigan thing. Yeah. So, are we going to see it down at Summer Beer Fest at Ipsy?
Surely hope so. It sounds like a vibe. I just want to like spectate sport because that's
the thing. I feel like the people watching is unmatched.
We could make that.
I was going to say we could make it a Better on Draft. And
there you go.
Put it with our list of 20. Like these are the 20 beers you need to try. Here's the bingo squares. See if you see those people.
That'd be fun.
I bet patrons would like to play that too because it's not like they don't laugh at people wearing the kilts. You know what I mean? Like,
I have a kilt count. Like,
or somebody's gonna see the bingo square and be like, "I'm gonna be that one."
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna be like that.
That's my thing.
Yep.
Turn it into a scavenger hunt. Just be there right at the festival. Just have a booth. Here's your bingo squares. You fill all of these in.
Talk to the guild.
We did a scavenger hunt years ago at the UP Beer Festival. Because that's the one that, you could kind of be a little bit more relaxed at. You're not, waiting in line for everything. So you get an opportunity to do it. And I remember, I don't remember what her name was, but I remember she won, and she won like a gift card to North Center Brewing.
Oh, dope.
Well,
that was
real quick. Has everyone here been to UP Beer Fest?
I have
Absolutely.
I went to Northern Michigan for college, so like that's like
Going to the UP.
Marquette's my hood.
I was going to say, because I would say, as a festival goer, as a person who covers these beer fests, I would say that the UP Michigan Brewers Guild Beer Fest up in Marquette is similar to Burning Foot.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of location, in terms of...
It's right on the bay.
It's right on the bay. It's
Yeah.
right on Lake Michigan. You cannot match that. A parking lot in Grand Rapids and even the swampiness of Ypsilanti or Eastern Market. I would even say it beats the shit out of Eastern Market.
Yeah.
Like Marquette and Muskegon, you cannot beat. Like those are top-notch spots. But then I know that Burning Foot has, the music and has different vibes. And now this year they're bringing in distillers and cider.
That got mixed.
What?
Yeah, that got mixed.
That's,
Yep.
Oh, okay, that's
that got
Nick's.
mixed. Yep.
So it's back to its original roots.
So-
I think that'd be a little bit too much for the general consumer.
Well, no, because they do it at the Betsy DeVos Center, the Grand Rapids Beer, Wine,
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that
Spirits
event.
Fest. So
Yeah.
they do festivals like that here in Michigan. But because it's put on by the Lakeshore Guild and they typically get that guild festival permit, I think that's why they can't do anything else but beer. Because that's why Brewers Guild festivals, because it's a guild festival, they can't do it. These guys are laughing. Am I completely wrong?
No, you're right. There's some other things, but
I didn't know. That was the last thing I saw on socials, so I was just...
this all
stating-
transpired in probably
Sure.
the last week.
Sure,
So,
sure.
Yeah,
you know.
because
I mean, even for me, I was just like, I don't know, that's a lot. That's a lot of booze. So, and I liked Burning Foot. I still do. Don't get me wrong. And I like how they give like a temporary, because you guys have been out there. They give like a temporary guild, like membership or whatever.
it's
that
like a
way, other
48-hour
people can-
guild.
Yeah, that way other people can join in, and it can kind of spread the.
Well,
spread
the original point was just to be on the lakeshore. Like you had to be
So I was.
on a
I had been
county
on
the lake.
I was on the board of directors at at its inception. So I, with Alan, because Alan's the chair.
Yeah,
and
was
the chair.
Yeah.
he's back because Jimmy is moving to Milwaukee. So Alan's coming back.
So do you know Nick Purdo?
Probably if I saw him, not by name.
He's 6'11", hands like a bear.
You would think that would narrow it down, but like, dude,
Actually, maybe not.
we're in Dutch West Michigan. Like 6'11" people are a dime a dozen.
He grew up with Alan, but he's one of our mug members here. And that's how we ended up honestly learning about the Burning Foot Festival. But
yeah. So that was the original intent. It was supposed to be a showcase of beers on Lake Michigan,
Right,
or
'cause
breweries on Lake Michigan.
That's why there was Chicago and Wisconsin,
and I was
right?
actually friends with Henry Schwartz, the owner of Mobcraft in Milwaukee. So that's how they came over for I think the first or second one, and that was the original intent. You had to be in a county that touched Lake Michigan, and then. Very quickly, I don't even think we made it to the first festival before we changed that rule. we were like, wait a minute, Kent County doesn't touch. Let's change that rule.
there's some stuff over there.
And then we were like, you have to touch water. It doesn't matter what kind. It could be a reservoir or a public swimming pool.
So Reed's Lake counted.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that wasn't actually. It just became like you had to do a temporary.
Right, the temporary
Yep.
pass or
Yep.
48 or whatever it was. Yeah.
Guild membership.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually talked to Eric Brigham, former president of the Michigan Brewers Guild.
From Rochester.
Yeah, from Rochester / now Dragon Mead, Rochester Mills, not production, but that's the whole change in everything. When Rochester Mills production went under with Two Roots, he moved over all the IPs and stuff to Dragon Mead, so Dragon Mead brews all of the Rochester Mills stuff, which I think then Rochester Brew Pub buys it all.
Yep.
But they're called
their
the
share.
Mills, right? Is
Yeah.
that the Mills?
There's so many stupid rules and regulations and the liquor laws of the world to where you have to do these 8 extra steps.
3-tiered distribution system.
Yeah, but regarding Burning Foot, I remember seeing Jamesport up there. And it was right after I had just went to Jamesport for the first time, and I was in fucking heaven when I went there because it was English Milds, ESBs, all
You
beers.
love Jamesport.
I love Jamesport.
I know you love Jamesport. They have a good ESB, right?
They have amazing
mild.
Nice
alt
beer.
beer.
How many alt beers?
They only have one. The only time I've ever seen more than one alt beer was when I went to White Labs. They had 3.
That makes it.
White Labs is good.
Yeah.
So you're saying if you ever come to the west side, you need to make sure we stock up on our alt beers?
Yeah.
I mean,
Precipice
ESBs,
of-
mild, brown.
You did your research on Arctic Circle, but you didn't do your research on Ken.
I didn't know.
No, he loves alt beers.
I love everything.
When he put together the graphic for the final matchup, and he says highest check-in, number of beers, and number of alt beers.
That's why that was on there.
I completely
This guy,
forgot I did that.
because this guy
I know we
loves
saw that
alt
and I
beers.
was like, what? It's like we don't.
That's such a
don't,
weird
and we
stat.
won't.
They make black lager. I mean, we're really close.
We like
Listen, I'm dropping an alt beer this fall. I don't
we
care.
tiptoe around it and like, but
We could call it.
no.
I literally so it was a preset thing that I found on Canva, and it had all those little areas, and I'm trying to think of one last thing.
Number of alt beers.
I'm like, I got to get back to work, so I need to push this out as fast as I could. So I'm like, all
I love
right.
it, man.
So I just did number of alt beers, and then just searched on Untappd to see how many alt beers you guys.
Look, I think that it adds a little certain personal flair to the entire experience as well. I don't know how many of the consumers actually notice it, but I sure as hell did. I'm like, of course.
No, when you shared that out in like our group chat, I was like, Ken, duh, alt beer, like bravo. Like I think we all identified it. We all knew.
I'm glad that when that graphic came up, you guys didn't have like 30 of them. I would have. I've been like, oh shit! I think they found like we're cooked, man.
Just working the inside track, boys. Working the inside.
3 years in the making to win the 2024 March Draftness.
Right.
What's your business plan? We're gonna win.
Oh, yeah, all beer release
We're gonna win
days.
better on draft.
Yeah, screw sour cake days and sour magazine
Sour
days.
magazine day, be
people in
damned. Yeah. Honestly, I might do one just to like get you to come out here again.
I don't know if that's still. This was still an hour drive for me over from Ipsy.
Listen, I got.
Bring it to a festival. I'll
Bring
be
it to a
happy.
festival. We could do that.
We'll feature it.
Hell yeah, I will.
Yeah, we will.
Ken will be like, alt beer, alt beer, alt beer.
Yeah, top 20 beers to try. It's the top 20 beers, but it's like 3 alt beers and
Right.
that's it. Nobody else did an alt beer.
That's it. That's all you
Usually
need to try.
per festival, there's only 1 or 2 alt beers, and then I'll send a DM to that brewery and be like, "Congrats, you have an alt beer. You made the list." Like,
Well, when I
Do
went,
like a better on draft fest, but like the precursor is you have to bring an alt beer. So like every fucking
PSA all brewery owners. You want a column? Bring an alt beer.
No IPAs.
only way to do it.
so obviously,
Although
if
you've kind of like evolved a little bit,
if
haven't
you
you?
listen to the show, I had a keg of B43, which is a keto beer, Bingo Square.
There it is.
We have Bingo Squares for Better on Draft, and that's me mentioning keto.
Yeah.
But also, new keto beer I found over at Batch Brewing, Low Boy, they're 4.8%, 99 calorie, 2 gram
good.
carb, West Coast IPA.
So good.
It was so good. Yeah.
I have one in our fridge right now. I don't know why I have one, but I know I'm going to try it.
I went up there. I hosted trivia over there for the NFL draft, and I just destroyed them. Like, those beers are so good.
wait, which brewery again?
Batch Brewing.
I was gonna say because Batch,
Yeah.
Eric makes solid beers.
Shout the
over
plot.
Oh yeah.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got some West Coast ties. Third Coast ties, I should say. But
No, I mean
But yeah.
his Michigan start was to hops.
yeah, I remember walking in there, and I heard he came from Revolution. And so the funny thing is I remember I lived right off the Blue Line. I lived in Logan Square in like 2010. And I remember getting off the Blue Line at work, walking by, being like, "Oh shit, a brewery's going to be in my neighborhood." That was Revolution. And so when I heard there was a dude with Revolution ties coming up to do the hops, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be awesome."
Yeah.
And I remember walking in there for the first time. He's talking to somebody, and I was like, "Are you the brewer?" And he's like, "Only damn one." Did you ever see? And then we proceeded to talk about punk rock for the next hour.
Right.
Well, my wife is like, "Can we just order these fucking tacos?"
Did you see his on the window when you go in? It said like Eric Plata Brewer underneath it. Like he had like a little window decal he threw on there.
Really?
Yeah, it was dope.
Checks
It
the
was
box.
dope.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen that.
We should have told him we were like he would have come up. That would have been.
I think
fun.
Plata's coming by this afternoon.
Damn it!
I messaged him. I already texted him.
Really? Tell him come up earlier.
Yeah, Jimmy
say
said
what
get
up.
back and close the tap room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got some albums we got to talk about.
As we kind of wind down, this has been an amazing conversation. I did look up, so you guys lost to Pigeon Hill last year, and 2 years ago you lost to Oddside.
I love two behemoths in our area.
Yes.
By the way,
And I love both of them dearly with like so much passion, so it's okay.
Well, you did
Everybody
mention
jumped.
Michael Brower, who's been on the show
right.
before.
I graduated with Michael Brower actually. So
Okay.
so I graduated from Spring Lake in 03 with Michael Brower from Pigeon Hill and Ryan Andrews from Grand Armory. All three of us graduated.
and then Levi from our
Levi,
graduated
yeah.
shortly after. Spring Lake, hotbed in the
Something
early
in the
mid 2000s.
something in the water.
Brewery,
Something in the
promoters
water.
slash brewery owners. Wild. There was like a 3-year stretch where like it produced.
It was our parents
what's
not
now-
paying attention, so we got really, really acquainted with what alcohol does and should taste.
Nice.
I got the opportunity at Burning Foot. Our tent was next to Levi, and a handful of people from M4 and B Nectar, and they were just drinking. And Levi's like, "Here you go," and just handing me cans of beer on Lake Michigan. And I'm like, I gotta wake up and like, I have to cut because it was after the Friday night at
The welcome
Burning
party?
Foot, the welcome party.
Yeah.
So we were at the welcome party. Shout out to Alan for allowing us to come on.
That
in
was
and-
dope. Yeah.
and join. But then we camp on the lake, and I'm hearing people, and I'm like, all right. So I go walk to the restroom, come back, and I see them, and I'm like, oh, what's going on? And Levi's just like handing me cans, like force-feeding me cans. And it's his Kolsch, and if you've ever had his Kolsch before,
is
any
phenomenal.
beer, but
It
his
is really
Kolsch
good.
is one of those top
He takes
beers.
very special care for every one of his beers to be.
Well, that's
top notch.
I'll always get a message from him at a festival saying, I've got this beer that I think you'll really like, and it's not just an alt beer. It'll be like a Kolsch or a Czech lager
you're
or a
gonna
dark
like this one.
lager.
Yeah.
But that's what people know is that I love those malt forward beers. So like when Royal Oak Brewery bought their dark lager to Summer Beer Fest last year, Jeremy Altier was just like, hey, you got to try this beer. And I went over there and tried it, and it was so fucking good. I think that was the only time recently that I've ever had like the same beer like 5 times at a festival.
I was going to say at Summer Beer Fest last year, you had one beer 3 times.
Oh, it might have been 3
It was
times.
like the black.
It was the black lager from Royal Oak Brewing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
it was-
so good.
It was so very, very good. But I love. I'm curious with Alan back what kind of music we're going to get at Burning Foot this year.
Well,
'cause-
Jeff Jacobson from Unruly has always kind of taken care of the music.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
So
Can we
I
get
would-
311?
311?
Yeah.
I mean,
Probably
is it all
Eve 6
mixed
again.
up?
Eve 6 was my graduation song.
Eve 6.
Here's to the night.
I think that was our graduation song too. What was our graduation song?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
mine did. Yeah, it was.
What year did you
It was
graduate?
like Green Day or that song.
06.
For like
I was 08.
7 to 8 year stretch.
Hold on.
Listen, I've requested a Biggie song, so I don't know.
I requested a Dropkick Murphy song. 04, ours was White Snake.
Oh, wow.
I graduated in 2004, and we got White Snake, Here I Go Again.
I graduated in 03, and we got Small Town by John Mellencamp.
Okay.
Goddamn kids.
That tracks with Spring Lake. Though.
I mean, that
tracks.
absolutely checks the box.
Rob, how does I'm like still one of the youngest people on this show.
Like the graduation song would.
Vitamin C.
Vitamin C.
Vitamin C. Oh,
Yeah.
God.
So
That wasn't my song, but
So yeah,
it still slaps.
class of 1994.
Good old 94.
Oh, there you go.
Boys to Men. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday.
Great song. Great
I would have loved walking across the stage to that one.
Yeah, the Frederick Meyer Garden. You see that? In Grand
Yeah, I did
Rapids?
see that.
Yeah, dude.
I still remember my cousin's graduation song. 2000 is when he graduated, or 01, one of the two, and it was My Generation by Limp Bizkit.
Aggressive.
Like the heart of new metal.
To connect to that, do you remember at Burning Foot a few years ago when like the
cover
chocolate
band?
starfish
and the hot
cover
dog
band?
window.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, that was so bad.
I have some great penguin
I will not
videos.
take that.
You thought it was good?
I thought they were very good. Because I wasn't listening for Fred
difference of
Durst, I was just
opinion.
listening for
Okay, I was listening to Fred Durst. I was hoping that the guy had like a Fred Durst voice, but the
things
band
that have never been
I'll take it
said.
back.
I was hoping for Fred.
the band, like the musicality.
He was
of
too
it,
busy
fine.
headlining Coachella.
Well, like there was no
that
Fred
year.
Durst going on up there.
That's the problem with Fred Durst is he was busy at Coachella and not Burning Foot.
He was doing it for the nookie.
What? You just got to have a little faith.
The Limp Bizkit cover band. Just
If you walked by Austin Brothers, by the way, at that
Such a
time, Brant was there. I think Chris Hakery was there, and then there was like a bartender that was there that was so hyped to see the cover band.
they were great.
I thought they were fun. I'm a huge Everlast fan, and I still haven't seen them. That's one of my like 3 bucket list bands that I need. Groups that I need to see.
Tell the unruly guy.
So
Feels like he's gettable.
Well, Everlast was going to be there, but someone in his crew caught COVID.
That's right.
And they
I
had to
remember
back
that
out.
actually.
So they filled it with Plain White Tees, I think, or Filter,
Yeah.
one of the two.
I think it was playing white.
Hey
Keys
there,
that filled it.
Delilah, and it's like, no, that's a song, not the band.
Right.
And I remember also,
I didn't know that.
yeah, Everlast was supposed to be there not last year, but the year before. And
It was lit. It was lit.
No, Lit was already going to be there.
Lit
I
was
was
already gonna be there.
excited.
They're their own
Lit.
worst enemy.
Indeed.
Lit, I felt so bad for them because they had audio problems and
That's
they had to
right,
like
beat the
start
shit
over
out of
their
me.
entire set.
Oh man.
I feel like I'm one of those people that when someone says, you know, it's like that one Chumbawamba song, and somebody goes, which one?
Tub thumping.
Like that's how I feel with Lit. Like I know so many Lit songs. I know so many Alien Ant Farm songs. Like they're coming to Wyandotte here in like a week, and I'm gonna go see them.
little tour stop in Wyandotte.
Oh, they got a nice little rock venue down in Wyandotte, kind of like the Diesel
shit.
Lounge over here.
Oh hell
in,
yeah! Yeah,
Chesterfield.
the Diesel line gets lots of off the beaten path artists. Yeah.
I mean, they get a lot of like early 2000s, like you know, rock that hit MTV but didn't hit more than like 1 or 2. Like they got to number 8 on TRL and they were there for like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and
Like
then,
Smooth Criminal and they did
That's
that.
the only song I know.
Yeah,
First
that's
of
the only one I know.
I know. So like,
Clearly, I'm dealing with an expert.
an aficionado of Alien Ant.
He has a B side.
connoisseur.
I mean, you listen to a lot
I
of
saw
Chumbawamba.
Alien Ant Farm at the Ritz in Warren.
At the Ritz.
Wow. I used to go to the Ritz all the time for fucking weird ass shows that would show up there. And you're just like, why is Nelly performing at the Ritz?
I saw Ludacris in Marquette when I was at Northern. That was
That'd have been dope.
That was-
That'd have been dope.
But wait,
Ludacris in Marquette.
like 2006.
Like, I don't know what the crowd's gonna look like, but I would imagine like move bitch get out the way, it's still gonna bop.
Oh, dude. And Twista, I mean, he burned the house.
Twista was there?
It was Twista opening for Luda.
Dude, I'm such a Twister
March
fan.
Draftness.
Cost about $18.
Yeah.
That'd be smart.
That's
Of course,
value.
It only costs $18.
Well, there's, I don't know, they expanded $25 Ticketmaster prices for Michigan this year to Grand Rapids, to Soaring Eagle, to Marquette, to all this. So if you go to, I think it comes out this Thursday,
Okay.
like Green Day at Comerica Park, $25.
Damn.
I'm like,
Plus a $75 Ticketmaster fee.
no, there's no, like the Ticketmaster fee, it might be like $35.
Wait, is this like
at
their
that
season
point.
pass thing?
No. For $25, you can go to any of these shows. So, like, Mike Birbiglia's got a show. Both Pat and Oswald
I mean, let's
shows.
be fair. They're not doing that out of the goodness of their heart. They have caught
they've done it before, though.
for the last couple of years.
They've done it before.
They pivot.
Yeah, they've done it for before, like Incubus. I think 311. The Whalers are coming to town. All these shows are only $25, and it could be Comerica, LCA. I think both Pink shows. If you're a big fan of Pink and listening, $25.
I like the aerial
Pine
show.
Knob included in that too?
What's that?
Are the Pine Knob shows included in
Yeah,
that?
there's Pine Knob shows in there. There's The Shelter, Betsy DeVos Center, wherever the performance place in Midland is. Like, yeah, there's plenty of shows that you can go get for $25. So go check it out. There's a huge list.
Hell yeah, dude.
I went and checked. I knocked off like 4 or 5 in there. I'm going to go see Bowling for Soup at the Shelter.
Oh, that's a good
1985.
I've been saying
for that.
forever that somebody who can hit with rewriting those lyrics to 2005, they'll have a smash on their hands.
Boy.
100%.
You'll see
You know
it.
what I'm saying? Like,
Right. You'll see it on TikTok every year. There'll be like
Britney
a
and Justin.
1985 remake for 2005.
somebody's got to do it the
Oh,
right
is
way.
this like
though.
the new version of like if somebody rewrote "We Didn't Start the Fire"?
Yeah, yeah.
I know
basically.
every word to that, by the way.
Fall Out
That's
Boy.
like my
the
party trick.
Fall Out Boy version or the
Come on,
Billy Joel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and hey, there's Limp Bizkit right there.
The Biscuits coming to town.
Bizkit,
Yep, they're
July
playing.
23rd.
Good, I can see the real thing instead of
I'm almost thinking like
Starfish,
back to back, Escape and SWV,
SWV.
and then
there.
the week after.
Yeah, you can go for
Missy.
$25.
That's a steal.
Missy Elliott the week right after.
That's a steal.
That's at LCA.
For $25?
It's like
All
giving it
right,
away.
so let's we're going to kind of end the show. We got to pack up because we got a keg to buy. But let's kind of go around real quick. First of all, Coopersville. Obviously, you're in Coopersville, Michigan, halfway between Grand Rapids and Grand Haven. Sell us. Why should we go there? Other than being second in March Draftness.
We have dope food. We have dope beer.
What kind of food?
We got a smoker through the wall, and you would say that we are like barbecue inspired, but that's not all we do. Wings, smash burgers, our weekly features that we put out. We've got a cone feed and fried chicken drumstick dish this week, and we house made some pastrami. Used it's really good. Used a rye bread from a local bakery.
Hell yeah.
And we also have a pretty dope vibe. We have a good service, so it's that trifecta, like good beer, good food, good vibe, good service. We knew that if
Cool
we just
things
keep
going on.
if we keep focused on those all the time, eventually, like the bills will get paid.
Any alternative beverages you sell?
I thought you were going to
Yes,
say any alt beers coming.
he actually drank our cheat code that we brought.
It's absolutely fucking amazing.
It's
I
our-
felt
it's-
like there was like a hint of like bubble gum that was coming in at the end.
Yeah, it's a lemon and lime hop water. We use some pure essential hop oils from Hopsteiner out in California to build the backbone of it. And then we make our own cold brew in-house using the same coffee that we do for that. We use brick soda right out of Grand Rapids and source local for that. We've got hard ciders. We've got wines. We try to wrap our arms around it all, kind of knowing that we're a community gathering place too, so you got to kind of appeal to even the non-beer crowd.
Yeah,
So,
like we always say, we're not a brewing company.
We're a
We're
beverage
a beverage company.
yeah.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Well, the last question, something fun to end the show. Obviously, we were just talking about music for the last 15, 20 minutes about stuff. What is the one band you want to see, your bucket list band that you want to see before you leave this plane and earth? For me, I'll start off so a
Yeah.
lot of you guys can kind of think about it for a second. I fucking want to see Childish Gambino live. I am so mad that I turned down tickets to go see Donald Glover perform and Childish Gambino on
His
the same
live
show.
show is great.
It's so good.
What's your favorite song?
Freaks and Geeks is easily the one that
See what I
I'll,
did there?
I'll,
Favorite
I'll,
song?
Yeah.
I'll pop off for sure. God damn it.
It's my favorite song. I just don't know the words. Yeah.
I'm a Camp fan. Like,
Yeah, Camp is a very good.
I was just listening to the royalty mixtape driving in this morning. But yeah, no, like
He's coming out with new music, so I'm hoping to tour.
I've heard some snippets, man. It sounds good.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the 3-10-20 or whatever the small EP that he just laid out.
Yeah, like I think he was openly admitting that music was unfinished, and this was an opportunity for him to double back and polish that album.
Yeah, so I'm hoping for good, but yeah, like Freaks and Geeks, I think was the first time I ever heard him sing. Because I always knew him as a guy from Community.
Sure.
And then, like, I saw the music video to Freaks and Geeks, and I'm like, every time I listen to it, I miss a reference because he just slides in so
He's
much.
so smart.
Oh,
He's like, yeah.
Atlanta, amazing show. If you've never seen it, it's
Classic.
Big Booty Judge Judy. That's all. That's when people say like Atlanta, like the first thing I think of is the end with Lakeith. Like,
Yes.
Big Booty Judge Judy.
I don't want to give the spoiler away for the show,
That's why.
but yeah,
That's why it makes
I
sense.
want to talk
It's
about
funny,
it so
but
bad.
It
Yeah.
doesn't do. But we'll go around starting with my left. Bucket list band, group, performance.
So I have a couple.
That's fine.
Back to Billy Joel. I grew up a massive Billy Joel fan. I would absolutely love to see Billy Joel. And then, like, my new can't miss sometime before I end up 6 feet under is Kendrick. I've got to see Kendrick live because, like, that, oh my gosh.
I got a lot to say about that one right now.
He's euphoric.
Oh, look at that. Shout out Drake.
Robear, what about you?
That's the thing. There's like so many that were on the list that got knocked off. So, I mean, like, Foo Fighters.
Because you saw them, or did
because
they,
I saw them. So, like, Foo Fighters is off. Muse is off. Eminem's off. There's, like, so many, like, at Lake Street Dive was my last bucket list one, and I saw them in November.
I mean, I think once COVID hit, like, for me, especially last year, like, I'm not missing any band that comes in that I really
I had that.
see.
I missed Tom Petty before he passed.
That was what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Yep. I paid.
There's some of those like I want to see, but I'm never going to be able to.
I paid VIP tickets for Movement just to see Underworld. Like, there was so many other amazing artists out there. Like, Skrillex was there, but I just wanted to see Underworld.
Skrillex.
And Jeremy,
So-
yours?
That's so. He actually like.
Mine. Sorry.
go on.
So mine. I would say because it's been on my list, and now it made me think about it because my dad just saw him a couple weeks ago. Is Herbie Hancock?
Okay.
Did you see him with Detroit with the symphony?
Oh no! My dad lives out in Phoenix area.
Okay. Because I thought Herbie Hancock was coming through.
Dude, he was on an episode of Detroit, or was it I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson?
Oh, okay.
Dude, that was great.
Yeah, Herbie would be the one.
You helped me out there with an assist because I was like, fuck, I can't think of, because like you said, there's some that like I've seen Billy Joel, like I've saw Blink-182, like there's like a lot of things that I've seen. One that I know I'll never be able to see is like Nirvana.
Yeah.
I think if that, but Eminem. I as somebody where in 8th grade that
Live
that
show didn't do it for
debut.
me.
See that's a hard thing with me sometimes because like sometimes I've seen some hip hop concerts and I was like, I wanted it to be more.
I caught that when they did the Home and Home, Jay-Z and Eminem, so at Yankee Stadium in America.
My wife went to that.
It was a dope show from top to bottom because obviously you have the ability to bring in artists because there's only 2 stops on the tour. But like as much as I love Eminem's music, I don't think he's great live.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I think it's this rapper hands thing that gets me.
I would say that because I saw him at Lollapalooza,
Okay.
and that was like him, the crowd, everything. That was actually like one of his like fresh off rehab kind of performances.
Okay.
And just everything that he did and line up, extras like the special guests that were coming out.
Absolutely.
And just that crowd was just absolutely amazing.
I saw him home at home with Rihanna. And that show was dope too at Comerica Park. So like for him to come out and they got to play their cross songs that they have, it like the vibe was good. But some of the songs didn't really hit as well.
Yeah, that's just one of those. Like as much as you love the catalog, like I think some of the stuff as it ages.
Okay.
That's true.
Good point. Okay.
Ages.
Like milk in the sun.
No, but like, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Jeremy. Like,
No,
you had
you're
like
straight.
anyone else?
I mean, he's from our area, and he's blowing up in the country bluegrass scene. But I need to make sure to make it to a Billy Strings show.
Billy Strings, not familiar.
Dude,
I'm going to see Tyler Childers for my 4th and 5th time this summer. Sweet. So that's a genre I definitely fuck pretty hard with.
Dude, Billy Strings, Halloween Van
he
Andel
saw
show?
Billy at Van Andel
the Halloween.
for the WrestleMania Halloween one he did this year.
Stupid.
Yeah.
How good
I
is
saw
that?
him last year at Pine Knob and the year before up in Saginaw.
Yeah.
And it was electric.
So when I was at Grand Armory, we got Billy Strings to play our New Year's Eve, the
Claim to
first year
fame.
we were open. In a place not
Much bigger than this?
not even
yeah.
this big.
It was like when he kicked drugs, went up to Traverse City, was trying to figure it out, did that for 9 months, came through there, and then I think he left for Nashville like just a couple
The next
weeks
day.
later. Wow. And has blown up since. It's been wild. Cool. But I definitely need to catch him before I'm done.
For me, it would be. I had tickets for the Run the Jewels and the
Rage Against Machine.
Yeah, but the shutdown happened.
2020 happened, and my tickets got refunded.
Yeah. So I had tickets for that one. I'm a massive RTJ fan.
Oh,
so like, if not them, it would be NERD. I would love to catch an NRD show, but I don't know if we're able to get those three guys in the same room again. They got so much stuff going on.
Yeah. No, RTJ would be huge.
Yeah, so mine, I currently have tickets to go see Neil Young. Neil Young's been a bucket list item of mine for years, so I'm going to go see him later this month at Pine Knob. So it's finally one that I can check off the bucket list. But to go back to the west side, Myron Elkins.
Oh yeah.
Someone that I'm
blowing up right now.
Yeah, blowing up, and I'm keeping my eye out for him. And then Marcus King would also be the other one that I'm looking for. So
that is going to do it for episode 45 of the Michigan Beer Series. Thank you so much for joining us. We need to pack up because in about 20 minutes, a bunch of people are going to walk through that door looking for their beer paid for by Better on Draft. So no matter what you think of your beer, we think it's
Better on Draft.
Too soon. Better on Draft. Have a good night.